What is going on YouTube? Joe here with Culination Media, and welcome back for another live Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire Wi-Fi battle against a subscriber/follower on Twitter. Today we're going to be having an RU match. I've been having a lot of mixed tier matches, so I decided to go RU this time around. And it took a while. Not a lot of people have RU teams at this point. But Brian has one, and we're going up against him today. We are bringing the Mega Bayonet yet again. I'm going to try to bring him at least one more time. I had a lot of fun using him in a limited role in the last battle. So I'll go into the team here in a second, but before I do that, just a friendly reminder in case you guys haven't done so already and you would care to show your support to the channel and the series and all that fun stuff. You can do so by clicking that like button right below this video or leaving your thoughts in the comment section below. All of your tips and suggestions do help out a lot, so I appreciate when you guys do that for me. And alright, let's take a look at the team. We have the Mega Bayonet, as I said. It's got Will-O-Wisp and Destiny Bond with Prankster, all that good stuff. Knockoff and Shadow Sneak are the attacking moves. We have physically defensive Sandy the Sandslash with Stealth Rock and Rapid Spin, as well as EQ and Knockoff. A lot of Knockoff users. Well, two, but I don't know. Oh, Alomomola is on this team. And Togetic. Oh, the bulk. The bulk is scary. We have some bulk of our own in an Eviolite Golbat. No Defog on that, so we need to rely on the Rapid Spin of Sandy to get rid of the rocks, which that Piloswine I'm sure has. Then we have the Jolteon making his return today. He's got a Magnet instead of a Life Orb or a choice item because I run Specs a lot, so being able to bluff that choice Specs, because a lot of times when people see the lack of a Life Orb, they assume that it's Specs. And in this case, I don't know how that would help us other than to possibly weaken or finish off a very weakened Piloswine with a Shadow Ball if he's switching in and then assuming that I can't touch him. So that is a thing. So let's get into the battle here. Did I go over the entire team? I don't think I did. We also have Jabba the Hitmonchan. And that is who we are leading off with here against Alomomola, and that is not so good. That is not so good at all. This Hitmonchan, by the way, has lefties. It's got Bulk Up, Ice Punch, Drain Punch, and Mach Punch. And then we got Pringles, who is our special wall. And nothing fancy there. Scald, Shadow Ball, Recover, and Will-O-Wisp with lefties as well. I believe Sandy is not holding lefties. She's holding the Rocky Helmet. Either way, this is not a good matchup for us. I do not want to get burned via Scald, so I'm going to go into Golbat. And we see the knockoff. Oh my gosh, that was the worst possible turn one I could have had because already Golbat is without her Eviolite, and that is just terrible. That is absolutely awful. I'm going to go for the Toxic here either way and see what he wants to do. I would assume he'd want to switch. But in the off chance he wants to stay and try to scald me or something or throw up a wish before he gets out, I would like to Toxic. And, oh, he has the Magic Coat. And he may have been predicting a taunt there. Either way, he's going to reflect back that Toxic, which does not affect us, so that's not that bad. It would have been worse if he reflected a taunt. I'm going to go for Toxic again, though, because I don't think he's going to go for the double Magic Coat. It's very rare when people do that. So yeah, he's not going to go for it this time, but he is staying in, so we get the Toxic off on this Alomomola, which is great because I need it to weaken this thing. Jolteon's really the only one that can touch it, but as long as that Piloswine is around, I can't fire off Electric-type moves. Gets the Scald off, no burn, so that's good. And that really didn't do that much considering I'm physically defensive and my Eviolite is gone. I will take that kind of damage. I will take it happily. Now the question is, what do I go into? My Jellicent is not water absorbed, by the way. It is Cursed Body, so it can be hurt by Scald and therefore burned. The question is, do you have Toxic? I mean, you wouldn't show it, obviously. But we've seen 3 of your moves. We've seen Knockoff, Scald, and Magic Coat. The other one has to be Wish. It has to be Wish. Like, why would you have an Alomomola without... or a defensive Alomomola with Rocky Helmet without some kind of recovery outside of Regenerator. And there is the burn, so Golbat is just completely useless. And honestly, I was almost just going to leave it out until it goes down anyway, just for this, the very fact that it had already lost its Eviolite. But we're gonna see. That Brave Bird did not do much at all. In fact, it was kind of counterproductive because of the freaking Rocky Helmet on top of the recoil that we were already gonna take. And on top of all that, the Alomomola is just going to switch out and get all that HP back, so it was a waste, really. Out comes Kelly Mansell as we get off the roost. Kelly Mansell being the Togetic. I would love to get a knockoff on you eventually. And the Piloswine, too. It's just some bulky Pokemon here. Togetic and Golbat, Piloswine, Alomomola is like the bulkiest Pokemon in existence. But this is RU. This is what I asked for. That's what RU is right now. And we were able to taunt this Togetic so it couldn't use Heal Bell that turn, which is great. So I don't want that, that Alomomola getting healed of its Toxic. Now, you're probably carrying, let's see, Defog, Roost, and then what else do we see? Heal Bell, and then Dazzling Gleam, I guess? Anyway, out comes the Piloswine, and we're going to get another Roost off, so we're doing okay. I'm surprised this Golbat was able to stick around. We got down to as low as like 30-something HP. Without Eviolite, you just wouldn't think that it would hang around. But Golbat is an expert in hanging around when it shouldn't. It takes hits that it never should take, really. Now, part of me wants to just Toxic this, but I would much rather get a burn on it. See, Alomomola is a Pokemon that you would love to Toxic. Piloswine would be more of a burn candidate. So if we can eventually get a Will-O-Wisp off, that would be fantastic. But Pringles has pretty bad physical defense. I don't know if it's the best idea to just switch him in. I mean, he's not going to go for EQ this turn unless he's really just making an expert prediction. This is not a good situation to be in. This Piloswine kind of poops on my entire team, really. So I'm going to taunt you, expecting possibly a Stealth Rock. Oh, wait, you're oblivious. You can't be taunted. And he goes for the Icicle Crash. Okay, well, we might be dead without Eviolite. Oblivious? Since when do they run Oblivious? And we do survive it, but the burn is going to finish us off. They almost always run Thick Fat. I was not expecting that. And the only reason I wanted to taunt you was because I figured that you would, yeah, I'm like talking to the person that I'm battling. I figured that my opponent would predict that I was going to switch and go for Stealth Rock. But maybe he doesn't even have Stealth Rock? I don't know. Oblivious Piloswine. Oh, gosh. All right, well, it's not the end of the world because, like I mentioned like 5,000 times in the last 5 minutes, we didn't have Eviolite. So that was a product of turn 1, unfortunately, and one of the worst turn 1s I've had in a while. Just switched right into that knockoff. For some reason, I didn't expect the Alomomola to carry it, and even if in the back of my mind I figured, oh, maybe he has it, I didn't think he would go for it on turn 1. Not with a Hitmonchan out there, at least. And it still has Rocky Helmet, and I have a lot of physical attackers. We need to get rid of that, too. We need to knock off every item on this team, basically. So the goal is going to be to status everything, because of how bulky it is, knock off the items, and then try to deliver a knockout blow. So we'll see if we can make it happen here. He's staying in. We're going to get the Mega Evolution off. There is the beautiful Mega Bayonet. Here comes the Stealth Rock, so we could have burned it here. But I'm just going for the knockoff. I feel like that's more important at this stage because you can heal the burn with that Heal Bell from the Togetic that we've already seen. I mean, we taunted it and it wasn't able to actually use it, but we know it has it. But the Eviolite, it can't get back, so that's good. We see the EQ coming our way, which isn't going to do nearly as much. Yeah, that doesn't do much at all. Only about 50 HP worth, which is pretty darn good because Mega Bayonet is not the bulkiest thing around, so thank goodness for that priority Will-O-Wisp. My opponent really needs to try to find a way to get into Togetic and get off that Heal Bell. That is essential. And we need to rapid spin away these rocks too, so we need to get Sandy out here. We should be able to take Icicle Crash fairly well. I know it'll be super effective, but we need to get a rapid spin off as soon as possible. So in comes Sandy, and we're going to see a withdrawal here. So out goes the Piloswine, and in comes the Alomomola. I don't know if that was a prediction or what, but that doesn't really bode too well for us. I do not want to take a Scald from you. The question is, are you going to predict a switch and go for a knockoff again? Because he may very well predict me to switch in Pringles, the Jellicent, especially because most of them are water absorb. So we could just go for a Rapid Spin and be a little bit cheeky, or we need to switch this time around and then not do it the next time. Play a little bit of the mind games. So let's do, maybe we could do something completely off the wall, like switching Ohm in here and forcing a momentum shift. So that's what I'm going to do. You want to go for the knockoff, that's fine. If you want to go for Scald, that's fine too. We'll see what happens. Jolteon doesn't take hits very well anyway, so a little bit of chip damage isn't that big of a deal. Neither is a burn. Scald does really nothing. Wow, that did no damage to a Jolteon with no investment of any kind. It's kind of crazy, actually. But he did make the safe play and went for the Scald, so for all he knows, I could have just switched in Pringles there. I'm going to go for the T-Bolt, and we're going to see what he wants to do. I know he's going to switch, obviously, but the question is, what are you going to switch into? And it is the Kecleon Courtney Act, and I've battled Brian before. I'm pretty sure this is specially defensive. I think I've seen this exact Kecleon before, and I think that was the match where he had an Almastar and he froze me and then proceeded to sweep my entire team. Yeah, he froze, what was it, Sawsbuck maybe? I had a Focus Sash and I was gonna kill him with Horn Leech or something. To see if I can find that video. I don't know if I want to watch it again. I don't know. Maybe I'll just put it in the description in case you guys want to watch me really freak out, because I was upset in that match. I at the end of that, I was Salty McGee. I really was. It's almost like I took it personally, like the game wronged me. Such an injustice. Oh, yes. Sometimes we forget that this is a game, but it's all in good fun, right? Right. Okay, we definitely need to get out of here, and I don't think Kecleon can do a whole lot to Sandy. So I'm going to take this opportunity to bring her in again. And it's not like she's taking a whole bunch of damage from the Stealth Rocks. We may get ourselves an opportunity here to get off a Rapid Spin, but we see another switch. So the double switch into Tyra Sanchez. Great nickname. I don't know who Tyra Sanchez is, or if you just completely made that up, but whatever. And we already knocked off your Eviolite, so knockoff is out of the question here unless we really want to predict a switch. So it really just comes down to, do I want a Stealth Rock or do I want a Rapid Spin first? Decisions. I mean, getting up Stealth Rock is very important because of the fact that Togetic takes damage from it, and there's been so much switching going on. Even though he has the Regenerator on the Alomomola, getting a little bit of chip damage off is important because we need to start punishing these switches or we're not going to get anywhere. So we get off a Rapid Spin as the Alomomola comes in. We're going to get hurt by the Rocky Helmet. Alomomola is going to get hurt by the Toxic damage. And at least we don't have the rocks on our side of the field anymore, which our team doesn't take a lot of damage. I mean, only Golbat was weak to the rocks, but there's just been so much switching. I don't want it. I don't want hazards on my side of the field. I want to be able to switch freely and try to rely on predictions. Now, he went for Scald last time. I'm almost thinking that he's thinking that since that was the case, that I'm now going to bring Pringles in on a Scald and, you know, essentially get a free switch. So maybe we could be a little bit cheeky and just go for the Stealth Rock, predicting a knockoff. And there we go, he goes for the knockoff. That's beautiful. The mind games are real, ladies and gents. We get rid of, I'm sorry, we didn't get rid of anything. Our Rocky Helmet was knocked off. That's what I was trying to say. Just did not want to come out of my mouth correctly. And as a result, we ended up getting rocks up on my opponent's side of the field. And will we see a Scald now, or are you going to go for the double knockoff, predicting a switch this turn? It's possible. It is very, very possible. I mean, he's not going to let this Alomomola go down this early. I say this early, but we're well over 10 minutes into the battle. He still has 6 Pokemon, though. Ugh. And he still has the potential to just heal Bell away all of that status that I worked so hard for. I really did. So out comes Pringles here, and he does go for the double knockoff. Good prediction by my opponent to make me feel like I was safe. I don't know how to put it, but our lefties are gone, and our Cursed Body did activate. So that's something. At least you can't go for another knockoff. So the question is, what do we do here? Do we Will-O-Wisp? He's not going to switch. He's not going to switch Piloswine in, right? That's not going to be a thing. This would be a perfect opportunity to switch out the Togetic, actually, because I can't touch it. And then you can Heal Bell or Defog or both. I'll go for a Scald, predicting a switch. Let's see if he predicts a Willow, maybe? I don't know. No, out comes the Togetic. That's just what I was saying, was that this would be a great time to bring it out. We're going to get a Scald off. That's not going to do much because it's uninvested. And it's really impossible to tell if that's physically defensive or specially defensive just from that damage. We do not get the burn, but it's not going to matter because he's going to get a Heal Bell off. And that really stinks because that Piloswine is perfectly capable of dishing out some more damage without that burn attached to it. And the Alomomola is perfectly capable of surviving forever without a Toxic. It's a pain. Now, his only attacking move, I would guess, would be Dazzling Gleam. The only other move I could see him carrying would be Flamethrower or Fire Blast for Steel types that resist it. Well, either way, I'm going to go into Sandy here. And we do see the Heal Bell coming out. And I don't think I've shown the knockoff on Sandy yet. I think it was just the Bayonet. So there goes all that status I worked for. Yeah, we did not show off the knockoff yet. So I'm going to go for it here and hope that you stay into Roost. Because if we can get rid of both of these Eviolites, we'll be in a fantastic position. Once I get rid of this Togetic, and he does stay in, so that Eviolite is gone. Thank you. Oh my goodness, that's looking like physically defensive Togetic. Looks like it took more from Scald. But Scald Scald is a neutral hit. Knockoff is not very effective and unstabbed. Never mind. It still could be physically defensive, but I can't really make that judgment just from that. Now, I'm surprised Sandy has stuck around as long as she has. She's doing great in this battle. She's been getting up rocks, she's been rapid spinning things, knocking off Eviolites, which may prove to win us the match later on, because the longevity of this Togetic has been severely hampered, which we need. We need to kill this thing and then Toxic that freaking Alomomola again. Oh wait, just kidding. Just kidding, we can't do that because freaking Golbat went down and that was our Toxic user. We can burn it, but it's not as good as Toxic. It's not nearly as good, especially if it has Wish. And I don't think we've seen the fourth move. We've seen Magic Coat, Scald, knockoff on that Alomomola, nothing else. Kind of surprised it didn't have Toxic. That's pretty typical for the pink terror to carry. Either way, regardless of what my opponent wants to do here, I'm going to recover because I don't have that passive Leftovers recovery, and we're at just about half of our HP here. So he may take this opportunity to switch in whatever check he wants, and I can't really do a whole lot about it. But I am going to go for the recover, as I said, and the Alomomola is going to come out here. Take a little bit of damage due to the rocks, and he's still doing okay as far as health is concerned, thanks to that freaking Regenerator, which makes Alomomola so annoying to deal with. But props for not using Toxic, by the way, if you don't have it, because I'm pretty sure your last move was Wish. Yeah, it is. And I know it's still a recovery move, but you know what? It's not that bad. It's really not that bad. I'd rather you have the set that you have than Toxic. I even run Toxic on my own Alomomola. I need to release that thing, by the way. It's just... It's I don't know. It's an atrocity that I've ever used it, to be honest. Because I've used it to just blatantly Toxic sell things, and that makes me a bad person. So out comes Courtney Act, which is the Kecleon. And this thing has Recover, so all this chip damage isn't meaning a whole lot, but At least we may force the Togetic to come out and Heal Bell again, which means it just wastes a turn. And that could allow us to get an appropriate switch in. I don't know. Now, what do I want to do to this thing? It probably has Shadow Sneak or Sucker Punch or Foul Play. I mean, it's a defensive Pokemon, so Foul Play would make a lot of sense. I mean, and Shadow Sneak and or Sucker Punch would make sense too, just because they're priority moves and Kecleon is slow as balls. So it's all in play. It definitely has Recover, and I don't know what else. I really don't. Regardless, I'm going to go into Sandy here. I'm not too afraid of this Kecleon as far as Sandy is concerned, and we see another switch out into Kelly Mantle, the Togetic, which is at full health. Does go down to 75% of its max health thanks to those Stealth Rocks. And we may see a Heal Bell and or a Defog here. I think we've only seen 3 of this Togetic's moves. We saw Dazzling Gleam, we saw Heal Bell a couple of times, and we saw Roost. So maybe it doesn't have the Defog, because it hasn't used it yet. Either way, I'm switching in Ohm here. And we see Fire Blast, so that's going to round out the set, so he has no way to remove rocks, which is good for us. I'm glad I put them up. That doesn't do much because it is, you know, not Stab, and that is a defensive Togetic, so it's not invested. But Dazzling Gleam might almost KO us from there. That's just something to keep in mind. But we also have to keep in mind that this Togetic does not have Eviolite, which means a Thunderbolt will probably kill it. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a double switch here. I'm gonna make a bit of a prediction. We're going to predict Piloswine to come out here, and we're gonna switch in Jabba the Hitmonchan because he's gonna predict me to go for either Volt Switch or T-Bolt and switch in his Ground type, which means I'm gonna switch in my Fighting type as a response to that. He does switch out, and yes, out comes Tyra Sanchez, which is indeed the Piloswine. Takes a little bit of damage due to the rocks. This doesn't have Eviolite either. So a Drain Punch might actually kill it from there. But we can probably just set up a bulk up here, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. We may see a switch. That's exactly what I wanted to happen. Yeah, he is going to withdraw Swoobat, maybe? No, Alomomola. Okay. I was waiting for that Swoobat to come in here. But this makes sense, especially if he has... Well, I was going to say Focus Sash, but the rocks are going to take away that Focus Sash if he has it. Maybe he has Life Orb on the Swoobat. It's probably Simple Calm Mind. But I'm going to go for a Drain Punch. We're at +1, and we get the Iron Fist boost. That is easily a 2-hit KO. And here comes the Scald. We need this to not get the burn. And there is no burn. So oh man, the luck is on our side. The luck is on our side. I mean, granted, it's only a 30% chance to get the burn, but that would have really helped him there. But we need some momentum. We really do. He still has 6 Pokemon. We are 21 minutes into this battle. He still has 6 Pokemon alive. That is unacceptable. We need to change that right now. And he doesn't have much to switch in. But he is going to try to save this Alomomola for now. And he goes into Jujubee, which is the Swoobat. So he gets the Regenerator with the Alomomola. And we're going to get back up to just about full health with Hitmonchan, but this thing definitely outspeeds us. I'm not running max speed, and even if I was, this thing is way faster. Hitmonchan is honestly pretty slow. Do I want to give up my boost and go into Pringles? Because what if this thing has Roost? I mean, I have Recover too, so that's a thing. But I have some special defense investment, actually. It's not full special defense investment, but I have some. And I think I might be able to take one, barely. And we have a bulk up, so if it's Psyshock, that would actually help. No, it's Psychic. All right, Jabba, you gotta take this. You gotta take this. And he takes it with 2 HP. Oh my gosh. He gets the special D drop. But this Jujubee, the Swoobat... That's some bad juju right there. Yikes, down it goes. We'll get some lefties recovery. It's not going to take us out of the red zone, unfortunately. But we're in a good spot here. We're in a good spot, and we're finally getting a kill, which is very helpful, honestly. I wouldn't be surprised if he just goes back into his Alamomola. Because with the regenerator, he might be able to live a Drain Punch. I don't know. I really, really don't know. He's in a bad spot because if he goes into Piloswine, that dies to a Drain Punch. Or maybe even a Mach Punch without the Eviolite. So if he wanted to go for Ice Shard, I can out-prioritize him there. The Togetic would get outsped and taken down with an Ice Punch because that doesn't have Eviolite either. What else does he have? He's got the Kecleon. That would get outsped unless he has some kind of priority move. So Drain Punch would definitely take that out, especially because it's specially defensive Kecleon. That might be his whole team. Am I missing one? I don't know. I might be. I might be missing one, but this puts him in a bad spot. And I feel really bad if that's just a damage roll. Like, if we survived on 2 and he didn't get max damage, then I feel kind of bad, honestly. Because that does put him in a bad spot. Regardless, we're moving forward here. We are even as far as Pokemon are concerned. 5-5. 24 minutes deep into this battle. It's crazy. Craziness. I'm going to go for the Drain Punch. I know this thing doesn't have priority. We know its moveset. So, Drain Punch it is. And is this going to kill? It is not going to kill. And we're going to get hurt by the Rocky Helmet, too. So, we're not going to get all of that HP back. He goes for the Scald. And that's probably going to take us out, honestly. Yes, it does. And it's a critical hit. Maybe we could have survived. But the chances are that time he would have gotten the burn anyway to finish the job. And Jabba goes down. I was really hoping we would get a high enough roll to take this thing out, but just nothing kills this thing. This pink fish. It's like, it's almost worse than Mega Steelix. Okay, maybe not. It's not that bad, because Alamomola has crap for special defense. Mega Steelix can actually take hits on the special side. Surprisingly so. And now we can switch out, and it's going to be a whole big thing, and I don't like it. I really don't like it. And after all of that, all we really did was just take out the Swoobat. My goodness. Oh my goodness. This is going to be a long battle. Unless we really just build up some momentum right here to swing it in our favor. Now, I feel like Knockoff might be our best play. Or we can just go for Shadow Sneak. I mean, we knocked off a lot of items anyway. So Knockoff might make the most sense. What else could he possibly switch in? Maybe the Kecleon predicting a Shadow Sneak? Yeah, I don't want to risk that. No, he just stays in to go for the knockoff, so he's not going to get the Regenerator. He's just going to sacrifice his Alamomola here. We're going to get hurt a little bit more by the Rocky Helmet. And this Banette is definitely within KO range now. I mean, what are we sitting at? Like 30% of our max HP? So he definitely got some decent damage off there. But if that means we can get rid of Alamomola, I am definitely all about that, because that thing, the amount of hits it took in this battle is ridiculous. It just would not die. It would not die. Alright, let's see. Roost is coming, I would guess. Do I really need Banette for anything, especially with that Swoobat gone? I'm going to say no. We will go for a Shadow Sneak and see how much damage we can get off on this thing. Ugh. Not enough. Not enough. I don't know if another one will kill. And Dazzling Gleam is not enough to take out the Banette either. This Mega Banette is putting in a lot of work. Let's just go for another Shadow Sneak. I mean, why not? I really thought he was going to Roost there. I think he thought that Dazzling Gleam would be enough. Which I was kind of thinking it would be too, but, you know, it's an uninvested Togetic. I guess we can't be thinking too highly of its offensive presence. We'll go for a Shadow Sneak and see if we can get the KO. It's going to be very close. It really just depends on a roll here, I think. And is that a crit? That is not a critical hit, so Togetic just goes down. Poor Kelly Mansell. These nicknames are crazy. I really need to step my nickname game up, because these are too good. These are too good, and they're all like first and last names. I feel like all of his Pokemon would just be divas with these nicknames. We can go for a knockoff here, and I'm sorry, not knockoff, Destiny Bond. My apologies there. I don't know. We've went for knockoff so many times that I just think everything is knockoff. But the reason I wanted to go for Destiny Bond there is because I figured he would try to KO us there with foul play. He ended up going for Shadow Sneak. That takes Bennett down. And that means that Courtney Act the Kecleon goes down from near full HP, so we don't have to worry about trying to whittle it down. And we would have had to bring Sandy out to try to hit it on the physical side. But that just simplifies things for us. So down goes the Kecleon too. That is some major Pokemon out of the way. Togetic, Alomomola, and Kecleon all gone within a span of, what, 5 turns or so? Which is great. And we should outspeed this too with Pringles here. So we can just go for a Scald. And it's going to be super effective. No Eviolite. I feel like I've just been repeating that constantly. And I don't know. Apparently, I'm very proud of the fact that they got rid of their Eviolites. I'm not proud, but just happy. It's not really like, oh yeah, you should be proud for clicking knockoff. Yeah, freaking awesome job, man. But it's always exciting when you get rid of important items like that. So Pilot Swine goes down. And he's left with 1 Pokemon, so the momentum essentially did really just swing in our direction. I completely forgot that he had this Hitmontop to begin with. It just has not seen the light of day until right now. And I'm guessing, yeah, it appears to be an offensive variant with Bullet Punch and Technician, because we did not see the Intimidate. Either way, I'm going to Will-O-Wisp just to neuter it, and yeah, he has lefties, so Technician with lefties. Maybe he is a little bit more of a defensive build, I don't know. Bullet Punch is something that usually the offensive variant would carry for fairy types and the like. Either way, we'll just continually go for Shadow Ball here, and we get the special D drop to maybe speed this along. He goes for the Revenge. He must have Revenge, Bullet Punch, Fake Out, and then I don't know what his other move is. Maybe Counter. That's possible. Yeah, Fake Out would work well with the Technician. It could be Mach Punch too. That would work well with the Technician. So he really just doesn't have anything to hit us with except for the Bullet Punch. So he's just calling it a match, basically. That was a really long match. I think just about every Pokemon on his team except for the Swoobat was statused at one point, so I was just a status spammer. I was just all about the Toxic and the Burns, the Will-O-Wisps, and really just chip damage, especially with the Stealth Rocks too. Sandy did great work, the knockoffs. We played Small Ball in this match, and finally, after over a half an hour, we come through with the victory, a 3-0. You would never know that it would be a 3-0 with how close and back and forth this match was. That was just a great match. So thank you very much for the battle, Brian. I know we've had a couple before. I'm sure we'll have a few more. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you guys enjoyed it as well. If you did, please make sure you're leaving a like, rating, or a comment, or whatever you would like to do. And I will see you all next time. But until then, game on.